Where was it that you worked at, Chef?
Paul Prudhomme. I worked at Cape Paul's. I was also at La Pavillon and a few of the other swank little places in the quarter.
You worked directly with Paul Prudhomme, did you not? Did you mentor you?
Yes, I did. I had a chance to do a lot of high-end parties with him. Who we did the American Airlines supper, and that included a lot of the famous chefs, Jonathan Waxman, Alice Waters, Wolfgang Puck. That's where I met Wolfgang Puck at that party, actually. So yeah, lots of people.
So we're some pretty decent, okay company. So right now with the equipment, real quickly, have yourself like a wooden spoon or metal spoon. It doesn't matter. I just like working with the wooden spoons. A whip, small and large, doesn't matter. If it's coated, that's fine too. Just a whip. If you don't have a whip, a spoon or a fork is going to be just fine. It's not a problem. The host would like for you to unmute. Stay muted.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We've got a 1/3 measuring cup and a 1 cup measuring cup. Our measuring spoons and a bowl. Medium size and so forth is fine. Doesn't have to be really large. Also going to have a 1 quart saucepan or pot with a lid. If you don't have a lid for it, aluminum foil is fine. That's not a problem. And a 2 quart. So if your sizes are a little bit different, that's perfectly fine too. This, especially if it's going to be for the single folks out there. I know we have one couple, the Davises, and so that's no problem. Inside your packet, we've included extra chicken and shrimp and crawfish, along with flour and oil. So when we talk about the measurements, we're going to talk about 1/3. So even though yours is double the amount, you'll still use 1/3, that type of thing. Chef Mike, you want to take those over here? So going over our ingredients, you should have your chicken thigh. All right, we're going to work on that. We have our garlic, and of course, this is the Paul Prudhomme Meat Magic. Hence why we Paul Prudhomme mentor. So we have his spices here. That's going to be marked seasoning. We have all of our vegetables in our cups. So your onions, celery, bell pepper. This is our Trinity. We have a cup of rice, some oil and flour, our tomato paste, our chicken base, our shrimp, our crawfish, and our tomato product. So everybody got what they needed, yes? All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on. All right. Carol, looks like I'm seeing, oh, wow, there's 2 of you. All right, perfect. Fantastic. All right. They threw me off there. Oh, look at there. Okay, Julie, hey, how you doing? All right, perfect. Oh, that's right, the camera's here. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and get your chicken out. We're going to start with that. And all we're going to do is we're just going to chop this up into small, medium-sized bite pieces, just something small over the mouth. So if you want to get a little closer, you can. So you have the chicken here. You can easily just take it right down the center, cutting it in half, bring the pieces back, and just cut again into some small pieces. So, probably like 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch cubes is fine. And for the Davises, just go ahead and cut both of your breasts, or thighs, excuse me, both of your thighs up. And we're just going to set that over here. And in my bowl, I'm going to do it all at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and take this and go ahead and put it in the bowl. And I want you to grab your vegetable Trinity. That's going to be everything in the styrofoam cup. Just go ahead and put it out here on the table. And again, we'll start with the celery.
There's these people on with the.
So you've got some of them, so these are just cut into little sticks. All we're gonna do is cut into these little cube pieces. Doesn't have to be about probably half this size. So again, it doesn't have to be fancy. Just cut them right down. Set those over to the side. Our next thing we're gonna grab is gonna be the onion. When everybody's ready for the onion, just go ahead and give me the thumbs up. Vicky
All
has,
right.
looks like Vicky has her hand raised. Or Vicky's, yeah, she's saying, okay, now I see her. All right. So all I want you to do, just gonna trim this off a little bit here, is the same thing. All we're doing is gonna be cutting the cubes. So just slice down. And,
Is somebody
roughly-
unmuted and they have a dog?
say that.
Does somebody have a dog? Does somebody have a
It's me.
dog?
It's me. I put him in the
Oh, okay.
office.
So it's
Unfortunately, he's
part
kind
of
of loud.
the demonstration. It's part of the demonstration. Thank you.
He likes to be part of the show, and I put him in the office. He doesn't like it. So my apologies for hearing him in the background. So we just want to just cut down, making the cubes. The nice thing about the onions is they come in layers. So you just get the nice cubes. You can add that right over to your celery. The next thing we're going to do is move over to the bell peppers. If you've got any seeds in them, go ahead and just remove those out. Just slide them onto the side of your cutting board. So you got your pieces.
Repeat your popular.
So before we start on the peppers, we're just going to take 1 second. I want you to walk over to, we're using the 2 quart saucepan, and go ahead and turn the heat on to a medium high. You want a medium low, chef?
Until we get in there.
Okay.
I don't want it to be.
So medium low for right now. We're just going to heat the pot up while we're finishing up the dicing. All right. Looks like everybody's coming back.
Thank you.
All right. So then we just go to the bell pepper, cut it in half. And then again, you're just cubing the pieces. So we can take all of this and add it to the bowl. So you got your chicken and your vegetables here.
We can just season those right in the bowl. To the meat magic.
So I want you to take out your meat magic. And I want you to take about maybe a third of this. You know, just use your fingers and just spread this around both the chicken and the vegetables just to go ahead and season it. All right. You move it around a little bit. Your hands. All right. Save the seasoning. We're going to use it again. We have our garlic. You can go ahead and pull the lid off. You can have that set over to the side. And then we also have our oil. I want you to take about a third of the oil. So as I said, for those, for the Davises who have a double amount, you're still just going to use a third of the oil that you have. And I want you to put that inside your pan to get the oil hot. I'm going to hand it over to Chef Mike. You want to come around? Now, if you want to, as you come over to the pot with the oil, you can turn your heat up to a medium high, and you can add the oil to let that start getting hot. Stay with Chef Michael. Stay with Chef Michael.
And the spoon.
Go ahead and tell them get the spoon.
Okay, so now that we have our ingredients and our spoon, 1/3 of the oil is in. We're going to go ahead and add in our garlic so we can hear that lovely sizzle. We're gonna move that around a little bit and go right in with everybody. The reason we cook it together is because logistically, by the time the chicken is cooked through and got a nice little crust on it, the vegetables will be wilted well on their way to being caramelized. So we're just having a good old time. And after your chicken becomes opaque, and that's not raw looking, we'll turn the heat down to medium. In the meantime, Dennis, shall we start ahead on the rice?
Yes. So, folks, what I'd like for you to do now is go ahead and grab your 1 quart saucepan. Put it on your stove.
Oh, yeah, medium.
So I want you to turn your stove top to medium. And then we can come over to your table and get your rice. And then I want you to grab your 1/3 measuring cup. Fill it up with water. You can take it from the tap since we're cooking it. It's not going to be a problem. And I want you to go ahead and add the rice and the water to your pan. And if you want to, sometimes it can be a little bit light. Just put in maybe another tablespoon in. Doesn't take a lot. And then you can put your lid on.
How much water? How much water did you put with the rice?
You're going to use your.
I mean, I have the
You're going to
rice.
use your one-third cup.
1/3 cup. Okay, thank you.
So maybe 1/3 cup and maybe a tablespoon extra just to be on the safe side. You put it inside the pot, just give it a little bit of a stir, put the lid on. It's on medium heat, and you just forget about it for right now. You do want it to low?
We start off medium, then go down low.
Okay.
No.
So at this point, now that you've got your rice and your water on, you can remove your heat from medium up to low, and then you can just let this go for right now. It's going to continue to cook, and that's what we want it to do.
And everything should come up together.
So we come back over to Chef Michael. You can see that he's got the vegetables and the chicken brownie.
We have to cover the rice? Certainly cover the rice.
Yes, we do cover the rice. And just like at grandma's house, 20 minutes later, we're gonna have magic.
This is one of the things that we do where as a chef, you get things like, how do you get all of it done at the same time? We're going to do a little multitasking here. We know that the rice has to cook. So we put it on low, we set it over to the side, we forget about it. Right now, Chef Mike, and what you should be doing is just, you can go back to your pot with the vegetables and chicken, because all we're doing right now is we're browning the chicken, we're cooking the vegetables to get a little bit soft. When it's at that point, we're going to be moving to the next stage.
So
Arlene, how are you doing? Everything okay so far?
I guess we're doing okay.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Shirley, how are you doing over there?
good. So a little of the history behind jambalaya. If you think about it, it's basically an icebox stew that came to be out of necessity. And then out of variety, things evolved like gumbo and the red beans and rice traditionally being on Monday, that type of thing. So a lot of these dishes were created out of necessity. So now we're going to go over and give ourselves a good stir, and we're going to scrape up all the, it's called the fond, all the little crispies on the bottom of the pot. That's where all your flavor is. All that good stuff is what's gonna make this dish taste like no other. So it's not about, really, it's not about the ingredients that you use. It's about the love and the passion that you put in there. And your herbs and your spices are basically like your personality. So someone could taste Uncle Dennis's meatloaf and know that, one, it was created by a Texan because of the little things that he has shown me over the years that are indigenous to West Texas. And same thing with me, either from Louisiana or California, and I do a bizarre combination of the two. So our chicken is looking good. You can tell it's plumping up nicely, and the vegetables are doing their thing. The other thing growing up, my parents used to cook the vegetables to death. I mean, just to death. And I didn't like vegetables. And then when I grew up and became a chef, I just barely cook them. Or I always make sure that unless I'm specifically cooking them down to a jam or my God, anything. I always leave a little body in there for the crispness, for the texture. I have texture issues. So that's just a little personal thing from me to you. Okay, Dennis, we're coming around the corner.
So now everybody should be looking at your vegetables. They're going to be a little bit tender. The onions are starting to get a little bit clear or translucent. The chicken's going to be nice and brown. And we've taken and we've removed all the fronds. Like Chef Mike was saying, all those bits and pieces that are at the bottom of it. That's where all the flavor is going to be at. So
turn it down super low until we get ready for love.
So you can turn your heat down to low. And then what I want you to do is grab the bowl that we had the food in, and you can go ahead and put it inside that bowl.
And all that stuff on the bottom is good stuff.
And then come back to the table. I want you to grab the flour and the remaining oil that you have. So we're going to go back to the stovetop. And Chef Mike, you're going to go ahead and add the oil. So the remaining oil goes in.
And then we'll give it a little bit of a pre-scrub and get some of that good stuff off the bottom. All that good. Okay,
Now, once your oil is starting to heat up, go ahead and grab your whip. So you have it at the ready, and go ahead and grab your flour. You can go ahead and begin to add the flour into the oil now. And so your heat should be on low. You have to forgive Chef Mike, he gets aggressive with his whipping.
because you want to get all that, as much as you can, off the bottom. You're just really loosening it, because once we add our liquid, it's just going to snatch it up off the bottom of the pot like a bad grandchild in the grocery aisle. Ah!
So coming back to the stove, or to the cutting board, excuse me, go ahead and grab your 1 cup measuring cup. I want you to go ahead and put water in that, fill it up. I want you to get your tomato paste and the chicken base that I provided for you. You can go ahead and remove the lids off of these.
Thank you for the tomato paste reminder.
No problem. And go ahead and grab a teaspoon from your cupboard. This will just help you get the rest of the base and stuff out. So now we've got the roux, which is what we're making right now. All right, we let it cook a little bit. You don't want to just go straight flour and oil right into your product. You let it cook a little bit. It'll change the color of it, and you're going to be cooking out the flour so it doesn't have that paste flavor to it when we add the rest of the ingredients back into it.
It'll start to smell nutty.
It, yeah, like Chef Mike said, it'll have this kind of nutty aroma to it as the flour starts to cook into it. But if you will, go ahead and take your paste and your chicken base, your spoon and your water, and you can come back to the stove. Go ahead and add your tomato paste. Here's a spoon. All right. Tomato paste, you want to cook that in with the rest of the roux to caramelize and bring out the sugars, which will allow you to enhance the flavors. You'll have that tomato velvety feel. And if your pan gets a little too hot, either turn down your heat or you can remove it from the heat momentarily so you don't scorch.
Ready for water? No, we got chicken stuff.
Yeah, so next is going to be the base. So go ahead and put your base inside the stock. And then you've got the cup of water. So I want you to add that in stages. So don't pour it all in at once, just like a third or a fourth at a time. And just stir it around. This will allow the sauce to incorporate. So it gets a nice smooth consistency and you get all the flavors combined evenly. It also prevents from lumps forming.
And make sure that you get around the corners. That's where all the good stuff hides. And each time we add water, it will thicken into a paste. When it's spreading like hummus, then you want to add a little bit more and get it back to the more of a stew texture. Your fire is about medium, but you go back and forth if it gets to bubbling too much, or then kick it back up if not enough. Because the reaction of the liquid into the roux will make it do what it does, which is thicken. As you can see, we're almost at a velvety.
And we didn't add the tomatoes yet, did we?
No, the tomato product is going to be one of the last things we do.
The only tomato that we've added so far is just the tomato paste.
Yeah.
So I wanted you to see how it coats the back of the spoon. Has kind of like what we call a nappe look to it. It sticks to it, but it's not thick. It's got that nice smooth. So we're going to allow that to keep cooking. Gonna add the vegetables in? Or check the rice.
Give our rice a check.
So go ahead and check the rice. Chef Mike's going to walk over.
Stir.
You want to just taste one of the kernels.
5 minutes.
So it's still a little crunchy, so it's still a little raw. We're going to give it another 5 minutes. Like I said, that's on low heat, so it's going to be just fine.
See, there we go. That's the thickness. Almost like you would see a stew. Okay, we can add back in.
So you're going to add back in the vegetables.
And chicken. Shall I?
Yes.
There we go. Everybody back in the pool. And we're just going to let her simmer. Stir and incorporate it. Oh, yeah, we're looking right tight.
Come back over here. Now that everything's been placed back in, your Trinity of vegetables and your chicken, everything is back in the stock. Now I want you to grab your ingredients of the tomato. These are our diced tomatoes, our shrimp, and our crawfish. So we can go ahead and remove the lids, and you can place these ingredients inside the pot where your chicken and vegetables are now cooking. So if you follow me back over to the stove. Chef Mike's gonna go ahead and add those in.
And the crawfish. And we'll give that a stir. If any of the little crawfish juice or the shrimp juice, just pour it right on into the pot. It'll do nothing but give it depth of flavor. Now we're going to have a little taste to taste it for seasoning.
Actually, we just want to start eating it right now.
Yeah, true, that's true.
Well, we're gonna taste it. It'll be hot, so be careful. So the difference on this one, as opposed to, because we went more Creole with this because we added tomato product.
Mhm.
So there is a difference. We went a little more soulful with it, went a little more Creole with it by adding the tomato product. You'll go to some places, you go to a restaurant and order it, sometimes you might see more of a darker brownish look to it,
Mhm.
where ours is more of a red, has a red tinge or rust color to it. It's because of the tomato product. It's not right or wrong either way, it's just
Exactly.
different.
It's pretty much like spaghetti in New York. You can go from one borough to the other and eat the same dish, but it will taste totally different. So that's the beauty of when we're in a different city in the state and we're cooking somewhere, we try and connect with the people in the neighborhood to get more of the indigenous flavors of the neighborhood. Because this one reflects mid-Louisiana, which is Baton Rouge. Whereas in Shreveport, which is in northern Louisiana, you might typically see the brown base etouffee. And then when you get to down in southern Louisiana, in New Orleans, you'll see everything. Some will add cream to it. I've seen it call it a supreme. It's as far as the mind can think. If you can conceive it, you can achieve it. So pretty much any good taste you think of, you can combine in some type of way and make love, especially out of necessity.
Is this etouffee or jambalaya? Because you said initially jambalaya.
Oh, my mistake. Wait a minute. No, this is etouffee.
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 Now typically
Different.
jambalaya is a tomato. I'm sorry, I got 16 over club. I have
You joined the
what
club.
is it? CSR. I can't remember shit. Anyway, jambalaya is almost always tomato based, although I have seen it brown as well. But yes, this is etouffee, and basically the loose translation is smothered. So there was a time I was doing in a little cafe in LA, pork chops etouffee, and I was using the big hunkers. So we would braise them and then smother them in a sauce made from the braising liquid. And come on, that sounds good. That sounds good to me.
So
Also,
this doesn't have andouille sausage in it like jambalaya.
This doesn't have any.
what in it?
Andouille sausage.
No,
No.
we do not.
Okay.
But once again, that's an option where you eat at your auntie's place and then go around the corner to Junebug's house and there'll be sausage and rabbit in it. And then you go around to grandma's and there's a little possum in it. So it's basically a potluck.
If the etouffee can be used in a lot of different proteins, where like right now we did chicken and we have some crawfish and we have some shrimp. But if you wanted to add a pork product to it, whether that's going to be a bayou ham, which that's a slow smoke process, especially for Louisiana.
Tasso, that's called tasso.
Tasso, yes. Or you could go with andouille sausage. You can put that in here. it's really, the reason we wanted to create this was to leave it to your imagination. So when you look back on this recipe, if you follow the amounts, 2 ounces of this, 3 ounces of that, but you change the protein, that's perfectly fine. We use chicken thighs. Maybe you don't like chicken thighs. Maybe you prefer to use breast. You can do that.
And some people prefer it on the bone, the little chicken wing. They don't feel like they're really eating Southern unless they're picking up something with their finger,
There's a bone in it.
which I can appreciate. That's the date night class.
Dennis,
Yes.
did I miss out on the recipe somewhere, how much everything is?
It should have been in the box that you got. Was it not in there?
No,
No.
there was
Can-
nothing in the box.
Can you put it online, email it to us?
Yeah, we didn't get a recipe.
And what's in the
Well, you know,
season?
I have everybody's email, so I'm going to email you out this recipe so that you have it.
Okay,
My
Good.
apologies for doing that. I will make sure that my stalker is beaten above the ears and neck. So we'll make sure that happens.
okay, thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And the with that recipe, like I said, you can go through there and you can change anything that you want. If you want to change the proteins, if you want to change from chicken, you want to do duck. If you don't want to do shrimp, but you want to put in mussels, you know, any of those kind of things will be fine because it's really the sauce and the smothering that it comes with. Probably before we go too far, we should probably check the rice.
It is.
I have a question. What do we do with the rest of the seasoning and with the green onions?
I'm glad that you asked. We're actually going to take a little bit of the seasoning right now. We're going to add it to the rice
Okay,
because the rice should be done by now. If you want to go and taste one of the kernels,
okay.
let me do that.
I just,
Sal?
yes, I just did. And
Oh, Mike already had something into it. Okay, so the rice is
No,
done
no, some, just a little bit.
just give me a little pinch.
Okay.
and we have our sauces done. So we're just going to let that stay there for a moment. I want to come back to the cutting board because you mentioned the green onion. So go ahead and remove that from the bag. This is going to be your garnish. So just take your green onion and I just want you to slice it. Just rocking your knife back and forth. Make sure you kind of cup your fingers in. I'm sure most of you have all used a knife at some point in your life. But this way, this is my guide. This way I don't cut my fingers. I'm able to push the green onion through. All right, so now we have our green onion garnish. And then you've got the containers that the rice came in, except for the Davises. That one was a larger one. But the Davises do have one of these cups. Just take and rinse it out. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just take one of the larger cups that you have. And I want you to go ahead and go to the stove and I want you to put the rice inside here, forming a mold.
We have some andouille. I put it there.
I mean, we don't have to use the andouille.
Here you go, Chef.
All right.
Make a mold.
Now you can go ahead and we're going to get ready to plate. So go ahead and grab your plate or your bowl, whichever one you chose, and just take the rice that you molded in and put it right in the center. So you can either turn it upside down and flip it. So it's right in the center and it comes right out.
Want this kind of bowl or what kind of bowls?
Oh, that's right. You wanted to put it.
I was putting it in.
They probably did. So then we can go back to the stove and well, oh, look at him. He brought it over here to me. So now we just want to take the sauce and we want to go around the rice all the way around it.
I didn't really touch the andouille. Stop.
Will you do me a favor and go outside and inside the box on the shelf to the right, you'll see wine. Grab the Riesling, the German Riesling. I don't look it up. Doesn't mind if a little mess, just come around and wipe it up. All right, now you can take your green onions and on top, garnish it because we want it to be pretty.
There's my,
And we have our shrimp and chicken etouffee.
I didn't.
You want to taste it?
Yeah.
So once you guys are done plating, go ahead and give it a taste. Let me know what you think. Thank you.
I don't want the sausage.
Also, in the recipe, I put wine pairings. This is a German Riesling. It's a dry German Riesling. This goes extremely well with this dish if you like wine. And I picked this up at Total Wine and Spirits. It's one of the places that I shop the most at because they've got the best brands and their people are extremely knowledgeable over there. So anytime you want to pair up some food, you let them know what you're cooking. They'll give you 5 or 6 different answers. White, red, rosés, champagnes, anything like that. They're really great over there.
We think this one goes really well with this particular dish because the light fruitiness of it cuts the richness of the etouffee.
There's, if you taste it, you can feel it's kind of got that velvety feel to it. The tomato product gives it just enough acidity where it blends together. You got a little bit of a bite without it being spicy. If you notice, none of the seasonings or anything like that we used, we go neutral. We didn't want to go with a lot of heat. It's not everybody's favorite thing to do. I know that I can't really handle spicy food anymore, so I tend to go a little bit light on mine.
And
But-
that's also one of the differences between the etouffee and the jambalaya. The jambalaya has more of a hot and sweet finish.
Absolutely. So it's a nice pairing with it. When I send these recipes over, you guys can take a look at it. I also, if you will, I encourage you to go to my YouTube channel. That's Exclusive Chefs LV. And this is being recorded. So this class that we're all in right now will be on there. So you can go through the step-by-step again and rewatch it as many times as you want. You can look at some of our other videos that we've done other classes for if you want to try one of those as well. And you're always welcome to email me back if you have a question or you want to get a recipe. I'm always here to answer questions. I know I talked to Alyssa and provided everybody liked it, which everybody looks like they're eating pretty well right now. So it looks like everybody liked it. Good deal.
All right.
I want you to let Alyssa know. She's going to probably send out a questionnaire, ask you some questions, what you thought about it. If you have something that you're interested in cooking, if it's something that we can do in our timeline and we can make it work for everybody, we'll try to work it out. I know next month we're going to go with a classic dish, chicken Saltimbocca is what we're looking to do. We're going into April. It's deeper into spring, getting into some of the lighter foods, and that's a nice classic dish for everybody. You'll have a chance to learn how to make the sauce and the chicken. It all happens in the same pan.
Flavorful and herbaceous.
Yeah.
Very savory and delicious. Yeah.
He's using those big college words like cantaloupe.
Yeah.
So,
Dennis,
yes,
what's the name of the wine?
this is
Name.
it's a Dr. Hedman's Bergenweiler. My German's not all that great. My apologies, but it's a dry Riesling. This happens to be a 2017.
I'll take it out of the chat.
So and like I said, I included it. I'll include the full name of it on the email. I just put in a Riesling because you may not like this one. Any dry Riesling is going to be good for you. You'll like, especially if you let them know what you're trying to taste. But I will put the name in, included in the recipe. So like I said, I encourage you to check out our YouTube channel. And you can go to our website. We've got other recipes in there, things that we're doing for the month. We theme out something every single month. We'll be continuing to do these. We'll look to probably do them on a consistent basis. So maybe we'll do it like the 3rd Thursday or the 4th Thursday of every month, something like that. We'll try to be consistent with you so that you can plan your schedules. If you enjoyed it, you want to tell your friends about it, by all means, the more the merrier. I'm happy to bring them on. And
If there's a dream dish that you've always wanted to taste, email us. Maybe we can include it into
Yeah, let us know. You know, one of the things one of the other groups did was they wanted to do something very advanced, and they wanted to pair wines with it, which we have no problem doing. So it was going to be done in their home, and with a couple of other couples, about 6 people total, which is about the most that you'd ever want to have in your home. So everybody has a chance to cut and dice and chop and get their hands dirty, if you will. But if you ever wanted to do something like that, you wanted to know more advanced skill sets or something really specific, we have no problem coming in the home. That's where we started doing this.
The entire globe.
So we're regional chefs, meaning that we cook food from around the world. So if you're looking for Latin flares, Polynesian, if you're looking for fusions, what do we do? Some sort of German barbecue or something? We'll fuse anything.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter.
Korean.
Yeah, German Korean. That's an interesting dish.
Mhm.
But absolutely, and we'll share wines with you. If you're a beer drinker, you want to pair beers with it, we can do that too.
Flights.
We're hoping to be able to do more as the coronavirus relaxes, people get inoculated, and we get back in the clubhouse again. I know that a lot of you are missing that. We'll have an opportunity to maybe do some in-person classes, especially dedicated to things that you're looking for. So we've been in this town. Well, I've been here for 20 years, and I've had the company now for 10. We're not going anywhere. We'll be around. So, and we always love good food and we love good conversation. So this has been fantastic. I hope I answered everybody's questions, or if anybody has anything. Look at that, Vicky. Yeah, Vicky.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, thank you so much. Carol, what Carol?
Question?
Oh, Debbie, thank you so much for the thumbs up. We got a heart too. We love you too, Debbie.
Okay.
Judy in
It
the
was
corner?
great.
Yep.
You got a hand up?
I did
Judy?
I think you, whenever we can be in our beautiful kitchen, I think you would have great participation if you came and demonstrated in there, so.
Right, we're looking forward to that.
Absolutely. And we have, it doesn't have to be just savory foods either. We can do cocktails if you want to learn how to do different drinks. If you want to learn how to do desserts, we have pastry chefs. It's not just Mike and myself. Mike and I are the founders of the company, but we have a whole brigade of chefs, pastries, chocolatiers.
I do have a sweet tooth.
And we've got an Elvis. We need that too. So, but we would love to. I did get a chance to peek in a little bit and see the kitchen, and it is gorgeous. Plenty of room for us to stretch out and do anything that you guys want. Just remember, we're going into wedding season, so anybody here that's looking to renew some vows, Carol?
The seasoning, is it Cajun or
Creole.
Creole?
This one is
The
Creole because
seasoning?
we added the tomato.
And the difference between
So the
Cajun
seasoning,
and-
little seasoning that you gave us.
The frappuccino's, the meat magic.
The meat magic.
What are you asking? Where can you get it?
No, I'm asking you the little cup that you gave us the spice, the seasoning in,
Yeah.
the seasoning in that little spice cup.
Yes.
Was that Cajun or Creole spices? Which one?
That was
Both?
a blend. That was, tell you the truth, that's a blend of both. I was trained by Baton, so his spices are the ones that I like the most. You can pick them up either online,
Okay.
but they carry them at Albertsons as well. In the very small containers. But the meat magic is what he predominantly uses in his restaurant when it was open. And sorry to say, the restaurants are no longer open in New Orleans.
Thank you.
So yeah, absolutely.
Done.
Is that what it's called? Meat magic?
Yes, it is. Paul Prudhomme's, K. Paul's Meat Magic.
And he has several different brands. He has a chicken version, a seafood version.
A veal version, blackened, redfish, many. And those are good to when you're experimenting. But hands down, he primarily uses the Meat Magic. It's so beautifully salted. It's never over salty, but it's just right there to release all the juices. Oh my God, it's a magic blend.
It's a little more versatile, and so it can go either way. So if you wanted to use it on chicken, you could, even though he has a chicken version. This is more the mid-road. It's going to keep you where the heat level's right. The blend is good for lots of different proteins.
Although the chicken are my favorites, the meat magic, then the chicken magic, and the veal magic. And like I said, I have a sweet tooth, so he has something called sweetie magic that makes the most delicious cinnamon toast. Oh my God. Haven't had that in a while. That was in the Wayback Machine right there.
But we'll definitely be able to, do lots of different things. So I encourage you to like I said, list, if you have a wish list of things that you want, we can always review them, take a look at them and see what would work and what wouldn't, and go from there. We'll always have these pre-planned classes set. So when you join in, it's more for a group effort and to fit into our timeline, but we're always going to be here for you. We certainly are here if you have questions. But with that, I'm going to let you guys continue to enjoy your meal. We're going to go ahead and let you go. Again, thank you so much for joining us. And remember to check out our YouTube channel. Be sure to go to our website page if there's things that you're looking for. There's a lot of different amenities and services that we offer, not just the cooking classes. We'd love to come in and cook for you at some point when you're ready. That's where we got started. It's cooking in the home. So, but from our family to your family, you guys stay calm and chef on.
Bon temps roulé.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. You're
Thank
welcome.
you. It was
Bye-bye.
really Thank
You're
you.
so welcome.
Thank you.